Monday. KIRO 7 TV's Jake Chapman spoke with a woman who saw it all happen.
Jessica Orth says two Puyallup High cross-country runners were on their normal practice route on 2nd Avenue Northeast. And just as one of them crossed the street, the truck didn't stop in time.
He fell and he slid a little bit on the gravel.
And she says when she saw the teen on the ground,
he was not conscious or speaking at that time. I was on the phone with 911 while all of this was happening.
The teen was severely injured and rushed to a nearby hospital. Police and neighbors say the driver of the truck stayed behind and cooperated with investigators.
The 27-year-old driver was arrested on an unrelated misdemeanor charge. Meanwhile, the state capitol building was vandalized Sunday night, and one man was arrested for causing significant damage. KIRO Newsradio's James Lynch has more.
The break-in happened at around 10:15. The State Patrol says the man used a hammer to break the glass and entered through a first-floor window, then proceeded to vandalize the rotunda, the state reception room, and other areas. Here's WSP Trooper Cameron Watts.
Statues being overturned, rugs and flags being burned, glass being broken, so the damage was fairly significant.
The man was arrested on suspicion of malicious mischief, burglary, and arson. In Olympia, James Lynch, KIRO News Radio.
A Thurston County judge released the 29-year-old man on the condition he show up to his next court hearing. The Renton City Council approved a proposal to raise the local sales tax to boost public safety funding. The sales tax would rise from 10.3% to 10.4%, potentially generating $3 to $3.5 million each year. Chief John Schultz of the Renton Police Department says,
the more officers you have, the better service that you can provide your community. And I'd say now with more complexity of calls for service, the nature of the calls for service, it takes officers a lot more to get the outcome that our community needs.
The tax would take effect at the beginning of next year. And outside the Starbucks headquarters in Soto Monday afternoon.
No contract, no coffee. No contract, no coffee.
Starbucks baristas and local union leaders held a protest. KIRO 7 TV's Monique Manlavin reports.
This is in response to the recent store closures. The Starbucks recently closed 28 stores in Washington, including 9 in Seattle. Starbucks Workers United says the closures left many workers jobless without being transferred to other stores. We reached out to Starbucks, who says, quote, union status wasn't a factor in these decisions, and we have reached an agreement with Workers United on next steps for the partners they represent, end quote.
Help is on the way for families who rely on WIC in King County. Seattle and county leaders say they'll offer one-time vouchers for food and infant formula. It's a backup plan in case the federal WIC program runs out of money. And that could happen soon because of the partial government shutdown. Nearly 30,000 people in King County use WIC, and about a fourth of them live in Seattle. The state says funding could dry up in a week or two. Public Health Seattle and King County is partnering with Safeway to issue the vouchers. And it was the moment Mariners brought Mariners moment that brought fans to tears.
Julio in at second with an RBI double, and the Mariners have the lead, 3-2.
Fox Sports TV crew caught Saul Spady in the stands crying after Julio's clutch hit. Spady tells Jason Rantz on Seattle Red 770 AM.
There's 100% crying in baseball, and every Mariners fan knows this. You cry when you're a Mariners fan. It's okay.
The M's now head to Detroit for games 3 and 4. The series is evened up at 1 game apiece. First pitch is today, set for 1:08. Now to your KIRO News Radio real-time traffic. Everett to Seattle about 27 minutes right now. Linwood to Seattle 15 minutes. Marysville to Seattle about 27. And for your forecast on this Tuesday morning, expect some smoke and haze today along with some patchy fog to start off our day. We've got plenty of sunshine in store for later today. Highs will be close to 70. Right now, it's about 49 in downtown Seattle. Coming up, CBS business analyst Jill Schlesinger breaks down the latest with the economy as we enter day 7 of the government shutdown. I'm Katrina Gashard. You're listening to KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with a KIRO News Radio app. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
This hour of Seattle's Morning News is brought to you by Closets by Design Seattle.
Looking for even more Seahawks content? Then you gotta check out The Reset. Hey, it's G. Scott, and every week, me and my co-host and Seahawks great Brandon Meebane talk Seahawks. We break down the matchups, and we're joined by former Seahawks players
from Lakewood to Lombardi.
Seahawks champion, my main man, Jermaine Kearse.
What up, G?
Watch The Reset live on YouTube or subscribe on the Seattle Sports app.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is for you too. Stubborn fat is really hard to get rid of, and then there's all those gimmicky lasers, fat freezing methods, and prescriptions. Imagine a simple solution that takes just one day and provides immediate noticeable results. Introducing ProSculpt. ProSculpt uses air-assisted technology that's safe and gentle yet powerful, delivering instant fat-reducing and skin-tightening results. Performed by board-certified plastic surgeons while fully awake, ProSculpt contours your body with minimal downtime. It's designed to target those problem areas: waistline, neck, face, arms, thighs. ProSculpt gently removes unwanted fat and tightens loose skin with FDA-cleared plasma technology, all in a simple, guaranteed one-day procedure. ProSculpt is one and done. Schedule your free consultation at prosculpt.com for $250 off. For powerful permanent fat removal and skin tightening that works for ladies and you men, it's prosculpt.com.
Are you worried about economic conditions, tariffs, and inflation? Are you tired of trying to time the stock market? Maybe it's time to take a little risk off the table given current market volatility. For stability, there's no better option than Legacy Group's Northwest Fund, a fixed return of 9%. Hi, I'm Scott Rurucka, CEO of Legacy Group Capital in Bellevue. We've been running local real estate investment funds for over 18 years with zero investor losses, averaging double-digit returns since inception, and we also accept IRAs. Over 1,000 local investors have invested over $250 million in our Legacy family of funds. Feeling uneasy? Don't gamble your hard-earned money or risk your retirement. Legacy Group's Northwest Fund, returning 9%, has limited openings for new investors right now.
Call 425-635-4700 or visit LegacyG.com. That's LegacyG.com. This is not investment advice. Legacy investments available to accredited investors only. Details at LegacyG.com.
You've been hearing me rave about my experiences with Integrity Roofing and Construction. Well, you won't believe what Integrity is doing in October. They're giving away a free roof to someone in need. That's right, a free roof. Do you know a deserving family who could benefit from a free roof? Then visit IntegrityRC.com, click on the Integrity Cares page, and nominate someone today. What an incredible opportunity to help someone upgrade and protect their home. Go to IntegrityRC.com now, click on the Integrity Cares page, and nominate someone in need. IntegrityRC.com, because doing the right thing matters.
If you use the carpool or toll lanes along SR 167 without a Good-to-Go account, you'll soon receive a bill in the mail. That is a change. A Good-to-Go pass saves $2 on every toll. That is not a change. Learn more at goodtogo167.com.
Tired of uneven home heating and high energy bills? The Quilt Ductless Heat Pump from Home Comfort Alliance gives you room-by-room control and serious savings. Visit HomeComfortAlliance.com.
Bringing you Seattle's morning news since 1974. This is KIRO Newsradio.
We speak with Jill Schlesinger from CBS News and, of course, her Jill on Money blog. And this week we are talking about the government shutdown.
Oh, yeah. Shutdownonomics 2025. Jill, good morning.
Good morning. What a time, huh? What a time. Someone just said to me, what day are we in? I said, it feels like 100 or 1,000, but it's really not. It's just single digits so far.
We're less than a week into the government shutdown. And on your blog, you're talking about how much this not only impacts the American economy, but everybody's pocketbook. Can you maybe describe that?
Well, I think that if you're a government worker, you know it's such a direct impact that this Friday you're going to miss your first paycheck, okay? And this is a very significant issue for hundreds of thousands of workers, you know, whether you're furloughed or expected to show up without pay. I think that the good news for those folks is that, you know, they're going to get repaid when the government eventually reopens. But, you know, there are other people who are, I would say, government adjacent. So maybe it's a contractor that provides the service to the government, or, you know, a small business that serves the government workers, a sandwich shop, or maybe, you know, a laundromat. You know what? The closure causes financial harm to these people who will not be made whole for any lost revenue or income during this time. And so it's a pretty significant issue that I think impacts more people than just the stated government workers.
What does happen to the economy overall in a shutdown like this?
Usually if it's short-lived, then it's sort of like there's a little ding to economic growth, but it comes right back, kind of like almost like a natural disaster where you have a hit, but then it comes back. I don't know if this goes on beyond, weeks, if we move into months. If we're talking here and it is December and the government has been closed this entire time, I think that then we start to see a real economic impact. But for the near term, and again, the longest shutdown we've had is 34, 35 days back 7 years ago. We knew there was an analysis that we took a hit of about 0.3%. So 0.1% for every week that the government's closed, about.
So, Jill, we know that workers here in Washington State, they do have an eligibility to file for unemployment. But I wanted to maybe talk to you about what the best process is here. If we have done at least a little saving, do we want to start spending that cash, or do we want to bust out the credit card?
It's funny. I got a message over the weekend from somebody who's like, I'm so scared to spend my savings. I said, this is the emergency when we talk about emergency reserve fund. So go ahead and spend that savings, and hopefully you can replenish it when the government reopens. If someone is lucky enough, maybe, a lot of employees of the federal government have been there a long time. Maybe they own a home. Maybe you've got a line of credit on your house. You might use that. That can be repaid quickly, or you could even borrow from a retirement account for you or your spouse. So these are some ideas before you hit the credit card. Either way, whatever is going on, I want everyone to understand that if you think you're going to be late or miss a payment to your credit card company, your landlord, your mortgage servicer, anyone that you owe money to, you should notify them, because the ones who do, basically are transparent and don't hide, I think those are the people who tend to have the better outcomes when it comes to getting a break, a forbearance, it's called, a little bit of breathing room.
What's your gut telling you about how long this is going to go on?
Oh, gosh, I have no idea. That's like saying to me, where do you think the stock market's going? I have no idea. But what I can tell you is that the people who are worried about all different aspects of this, I just need to reiterate of the good news is that Social Security and Medicare and Medicaid, those are authorized through separate laws. Those benefits continue to flow. Same with all the supplemental nutrition assistance programs. This is also really helpful because there are people who are waiting for money that they really need. So those folks are not actually impacted. By the way, on the other end of the spectrum, if you owe money to, say, the IRS or the Department of Ed, you have a student loan, guess what? They want their money. You get no forbearance. So they're open enough to receive your ongoing checks.
And one more thing here, Jill. What do you make of Wall Street? Because right now they're just kind of shrugging at this news. They're doing just fine on the major indexes.
It's so true. It's sort of like this confounding thing. Nothing can seem to derail the stock market's progress. The S&P 500, the Dow, the NASDAQ, they all closed at new highs on Friday. And S&P 500 is up 14% this year. And that's pretty remarkable considering what's already happened this year. This is what I would say to those who are expecting some market reaction. It may happen, it may not happen. And usually when we have a market reaction that's really negative, it takes everyone by surprise. So if you're sitting there saying oh, I'm so psyched, my 401k is just doing gangbusters. Now, while the market's at new highs, is a wonderful time for you to go into that account and make sure that everything is the balance that you want. If you started the year and you said, I'm 70% in stocks and 30% in bonds, and all of a sudden you're at 80-20, now's a great time to rebalance that account because you can get yourself back into your ideal allocation for you.
For your KIRO News Radio forecast, expect some smoke and haze. Stay along with some patchy fog to start off your day. We'll have plenty of sunshine this afternoon with improving air quality later today and tonight. Highs will be in the low 70s. Right now, it's about 48 in downtown Seattle. Coming up, we'll have more details on the battle between President Trump and a district judge on whether National Guard troops can be sent into Portland. The latest from News Nation's Nancy Liu. That's coming up next. I'm Katrina Gashard. You're listening to KIRO News Radio.
Do you need glasses or contacts and you're now at at the age where you also need readers? K2 Vision RLE is the permanent solution to eliminate the need for all those. Hey, it's Doctors King and Kopstein from K2 Vision. Andy, for those nearing age 50 or so, refractive lens exchange can be a great alternative to LASIK.
That's right, Joe. K2 Vision RLE is a terrific permanent solution for a lifetime of great vision. The older we get, we experience the dysfunction of our natural lens, which affects both distance vision and requires the use of reading glasses. Plus, after K2 Vision RLE, you will never develop a cataract.
And like LASIK, K2 Vision RLE is quick and painless. The question is, which procedure is right for you?
After replacing more than 100,000 failing lenses, we have the experience to tell you if it's your right time for RLE.
Schedule your free Zoom consultation with us about K2 Vision RLE to get your eyes seeing young again, permanently.
Go to k2visionrle.com, k2visionrle.com.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues?
Who are you?
Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Hey, this is Jake Skorheim. You know what's stressful? A leaky roof, because you typically don't find out it's leaking until water makes its way through the insulation. The drywall in your ceiling starts swelling up, sags and drips. Then you're freaked out, wondering if there's mold in your house. I get it. That's why I get Valentine Roofing. Valentine has a leak stop guarantee. They'll stop the leak in your old roof for free until your brand new Valentine roof can be safely installed. Because Valentine doesn't just replace roofs, they protect homes. And they start protecting yours the moment you call. No stress, no mess, no more buckets in your living room. The wet weather is coming, so if you need to take advantage of that free roof inspection, I encourage you to call and get the Valentine experience. Seamless communication, meticulous cleanup, extra mile service, and every new roof backed by a lifetime warranty. And now with 0 down financing for most projects, you can get the work done now and pay over time. Stop the leaks before they start. Call 206 Roofing and get your free estimate today. That's 206 Roofing.
I saw her texting coming up to a stop sign. And so I saw the accident coming and she T-boned us.
In the blink of an eye, Crystal's life changed when she suffered a severe spinal injury.
The pain was something I had never experienced before in my neck. I got massage therapy. I saw a chiropractor. I was prescribed muscle relaxers so I could sleep. I got depressed. Nothing was relieving the pain.
Drugs, sleepless nights, and depression. Sound familiar? I'm Dr. Mark Shelley, a chiropractic physician and board-certified functional neurologist. At Sound Pain Solutions, our treatments include high-dose laser combined with spinal decompression and other comprehensive therapies to rehabilitate damaged discs. We use treatments that are non-surgical, FDA-cleared, drug and pain-free.
I was able to get off my pain medicines and I was able to sleep through the night, and that was what I was desperate for.
To learn if you're a candidate for our treatment, call us. Sound Pain Solutions, 855-996-0025 or click soundpainsolutions.com.
Change is always happening. It's part of life. And when it comes to music, change is all around us. Songs are rewritten. Classics are remixed. Bands and artists come and go. Even our taste in music changes. Here at Xfinity, we know there's still good in keeping some things the same. That's why we want to do our part with a 5-year price guarantee on our internet. It means no matter what changes, you get 5 years of the most reliable Wi-Fi with our best equipment included for a price that stays exactly the same. Surprised? Life is full of them. One internet price, 5 years, guaranteed. Learn more at xfinity.com/deals. Restrictions apply. New residential customers only. Taxes and fees extra and subject to change. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA. Fixed Broadband Experience Report, August 2024.
If you're a veteran struggling with your monthly bills, VA loan expert Steve Teitler of Best Mortgage has some good news for you.
Rates have dropped recently, and this could be a great time for our veterans to think about a cash-out refinance to get out of your high-interest rate debt. For example, one of our clients had a 2.25% VA loan, but he owed more than $155,000 on credit cards and a home equity loan. So we paid off all of that debt and replaced his mortgage with a VA cash-out refinance. And the new VA loan saved him $1,268 per month. So give us a call and see if a VA cash-out refi can help save you money. And remember, with a VA loan, you can buy a home with no money down.
And you can help non-veterans as well.
That's right. If you have a conventional loan, we'll run the numbers and see if we can help save you money, too.
Honest advice you can trust from the VA loan experts, Best Mortgage. Call now, 425-649-6000. Best Mortgage, 425-649-6000.
With Amazon Business, smart business buying tools enable buyers to find and purchase items fast. Free up your teams and focus on your future. Learn more at AmazonBusiness.com.
Upgrade your home comfort and save 20% during the Bob's Heating preseason furnace sale. With great savings plus free financing on heat pumps, water heaters, generators, and more, our award-winning team has what you need to stay cozy this chilly season at a cost you're comfortable with. Voted best in the Pacific Northwest, we're honored to be your dedicated home comfort company since 1957. Call Bob's and save today.
Bob's Heating and Air Conditioning. Call Bob.
KIRO Newsradio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO Newsradio and mynorthwest.com.
Good morning. I'm Katrina Gashard. The government shutdown is impacting air travelers across the country. Nearly 6,000 flights were delayed yesterday, some due to staffing issues with workers who are not getting paid. One airport near Los Angeles went several hours without air traffic controllers in the tower. CBS's Chris Van Cleve has more from Phoenix.
The lights are on at the Hollywood Burbank Airport Control Tower, but Monday evening, there was no one home.
Hey, Burbank Tower, Southwest 695. Southwest 695, SoCal. Hey, are you guys, is clearance open still or is it closed for Burbank?
Air traffic control staffing went to ATC 0, meaning there was no one in the control tower. Pilots were redirected to controllers at other FAA facilities.
Today marks 2 years since Hamas-led militants launched a major attack on Israel, killing around 1,200 people and abducting 251 others. The attacks plunged the region into an ongoing war, which has killed more than 60,000 people in Gaza, most of them civilians. CBS's Haley Ott is in Hostage Square in Tel Aviv.
Everyone we've spoken to can't believe it's been 2 years since the October 7th attack, and that there are Israeli hostages who have been in captivity for that entire time, 48 in total, around 20 of whom are believed to still be alive. For many Israelis, their main priority has been getting those hostages home and ending the war, and some people are really frustrated with the Israeli government for not doing more to secure a deal to do that earlier.
Right now, indirect talks are underway in Egypt to bring an end to the war and release all of the remaining hostages. Meanwhile, the Washington State Patrol arrests a prolific tagger in Pierce County they say is responsible for tens of thousands of dollars in cleanup. KIRO News Radio's James Lynch has more.
His tags can be seen all over. His name is Tony Lim, and following his arrest, he's expected to face felony charges. Here's WSP Trooper Cameron Watts.
Total cost of cleanup as of the date of the arrest was upwards of $32,000.
Cleanup paid for by the taxpayer. Even more when you consider private cleanup paid for by private businesses and private citizens. James Lynch, KIRO News Radio.
Oak Harbor police are setting the record straight after a misleading social media prank stirred concern. A video titled "AI Homeless Man Falsely Suggested a Homeless Person Was on the High School Campus." Police say the video was staged and no such incident occurred. Parents are encouraged to speak with their children about responsible use of technology and potential consequences of spreading false information online. And you can cheer alongside the Mariners fans at T-Mobile Park today and tomorrow. The team is hosting a watch party at the ballpark for Games 3 and 4 against the Tigers in Detroit. The American League Division Series is all tied up at 1 game apiece. Tickets for the watch party cost $15. Gates open an hour before first pitch at 1:08. And for your KIRO News Radio real-time traffic, Tacoma to Seattle about 27 minutes right now. Puyallup to Renton about 18. Everett to Bellevue about 21. Marysville to Seattle about 32 minutes right now. And for your forecast, we've got some smoke and haze hovering today with some patchy fog to start. We'll have plenty of sunshine later this afternoon. Air quality is expected to improve later into this afternoon and tonight. Highs will be in the low 70s. Right now, it's about 49 in downtown Seattle. I'm Katrina Gashard. You're listening to KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with the KIRO News Radio app. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News. Seattle's morning news. Always live, always connected. Stream, watch, subscribe, and share at mynorthwest.com.
A district judge ruling late yesterday, as we've been telling you, has brought the deployment of hundreds of National Guard in Portland to a halt.
It comes after the president ordered 200 troops from California to Portland to assist in immigration enforcement, pushing back on what the president calls Antifa and other domestic terrorism in that city.
Let's get the latest from News Nation reporter Nancy Liu. You are in Portland. Nancy, are you outside that ICE facility?
Yeah, I've spent the weekend outside the ICE facility, and yet again, there were skirmishes, but it's been hard to keep track of all the court maneuvering that's been going on. But all weekend, there was the anticipation that the Guard is coming. The Guard is coming. Initially, the Oregon Guard, and then yesterday it flipped and turned into the California Guard is coming. But as of this morning, no National Guard presence at the ICE facility because of that court ruling last night.
Nancy, could you explain why Oregon troops were replaced with California troops to do this deployment?
That was because of the initial temporary restraining order decision by the judge, and that happened Friday, Saturday, and soon as that decision came down, the Trump administration moved to mobilize the federalized California troops and get them up to Oregon. And Governor Kotek said that they had already arrived Saturday night, 100 of them, and that more were on the way. And Governor Newsom also had tweeted that 300 California mobilized to Oregon. So the initial order banning the use of the National Guard, the Oregon National Guard, was followed up by the emergency second temporary restraining order decision last night, which expanded to bar the use of any National Guard from any state. And of course, last night we heard from Texas Governor Greg Abbott that Texas National Guard will also be heading to Oregon. But because of the judge's ruling, we'll certainly see what happens. We don't know that Texas Guard is actively on the way here, but we do know that at least 100 California federalized Guard are already here in Portland.
Nancy, as you mentioned, it's been difficult to keep track of all the legal maneuvering here. What was the response from the Trump administration to this latest ruling?
Obviously, they're pushing back. There are appeals. I mean, it's hard to keep track of all the appeals as well. But, Secretary of War Pete Hegseth in the court filing said, that this is warranted. The president determined that violent incidents, as well as the credible threat of continued violence, are impeding the execution of the laws in the United States. And, he noted Illinois, Oregon, and other locations in the United States. So it remains to be seen whether Guard troops might be deployed anyway, and then we'll see more legal action later. So just definitely there's been suspense outside the facility all weekend. People waiting and seeing, is the Guard coming? Is the Guard coming? But, it's been the usual protest activity we've seen, but Saturday brought pretty eventful skirmishes outside. There were multiple rounds of tear gas, a lot of pepper balls fired. multiple arrests, but, as everyone in Seattle knows, that's been the norm outside this facility. And in talking to residents of that area, which of course is, 2 or 3 blocks in South Portland, and a lot of Portlanders want to point out that, the city is huge and it's all, concentrated in that area around the ICE building. But the residents around that building, they are tired of it. And a few of them told me they want the National Guard there. They want the end to this nightly unrest that they've been putting up with for over 100 days.
News Nation reporter Nancy Liu. Nancy, thank you very much for that update, and we'll continue checking in with you as this develops.
Coming up, we'll have national headlines. You're listening to KIRO News Radio.
You never know what's in store each morning once you hit the road.
We've got a major traffic alert in effect right now.
While you're getting ready every morning, make us part of your routine.
What morning, huh?
Yeah. Got off to an early start.
Just tell your smart speaker to play KIRO News Radio or stream us on the app.
Both directions of I-5 are closed.
We'll help you get where you're going faster.
Maybe bail at 512.
KIRO News Radio. We're on your smart speaker, the app, and 97.3 FM.
Health insurance is broken, but it doesn't have to be. That's why Scan Health Plan was founded as a nonprofit, so we can create Medicare Advantage plans that focus on the real needs of seniors. We've been people first since 1977, and we're here to make Medicare work hard for you, because you deserve more than a broken system. You deserve a plan that fights for you. Visit scandifference.org to learn more. Scan Health Plan is an HMO plan with a Medicare contract. Enrollment in Scan Health Plan depends on contract renewal.
Has it been hot in your house this summer? Maybe worried about the cold coming in this fall and into the winter? Might be because your insulation's just not up to snuff. That was my problem, Mike Salk here, and that's why I called Crawl Pros. They came out, they did a corner-to-corner inspection of my crawl space and attic, and they fixed that problem once and for all. If your home has any damaged insulation or no insulation in the attic or crawl space, you're bleeding money every month to heat and cool your home, but you don't have to. And even better, if you're a PSE customer and your home was built before 1990, you could qualify to receive a rebate on up to 95% of the cost to properly insulate your crawl space and attic. Yeah, 95%, but you gotta act now. Many of these rebates are ending at the end of this year, including the federal incentives. Let Crawl Pros come out and properly insulate your home before the cooler fall weather comes in. If you're worried about critters, mold, water damage, insulation, or anything else related to your crawl space or attic, call Crawl Pros or visit crawlpros.com.
Endless hours of research, seeking referrals, dozens of calls. Hiring the right attorney can be a challenging process during an already difficult time. JP Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains.
In Washington State, Tom, there are thousands of attorneys to choose from. Referrals and online research can be helpful, but discovering the right attorney requires a conversation. It can be hard to identify integrity and authenticity without that interaction.
So, what do you recommend?
We encourage anyone looking for personal injury representation to call for a free consultation with our team before making a decision simply based on referrals or online research. Accident victims need an attorney that listens, demonstrates honesty, and is genuinely understanding of their unique circumstances. The care, attention, and preparation that our firm provides throughout the case mirrors the effort involved when taking on the insurance companies.
Save time and avoid mistakes after an injury. Contact the caring and compassionate team at Pendergast Law.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
CBS News Brief. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy naming names as more air traffic controllers sick out on day 7 of the government shutdown.
I want to make sure that Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries know that this is not consequence-free.
The Senate tried again but failed to pass a funding bill yesterday. Today marks 2 years since Hamas' October 7th attacks on Israel that triggered the war in Gaza. This man weighing in from Jerusalem.
We have 48 hostages who are still waiting to come home. This should be the top priority.
Israeli and Hamas negotiators meet again today in Egypt. The Nobel Prize in Physics just announced in Stockholm.
John Clark, Michel Devoré, and John Martinez for the discovery of macroscopic quantum mechanical tunneling and energy quantization in an electric circuit.
American Martinez did his research at UC Santa Barbara, the others at Berkeley and Yale. CBS News Brief. I'm Deborah Rodriguez.
For your KIRO News Radio forecast, expect some smoke and haze today along with some patchy fog to start the day. We'll have plenty of sunshine this afternoon with improving air quality later today and tonight. Highs will be in the low 70s. Right now, it's about 49 in downtown Seattle. Coming up, Crime and Punishment, our weekly check-in with Casey McNerthy at the King County Prosecutor's Office. I'm Katrina Gashard. You're listening to KIRO News Radio.
We've got a style of play no one wants to go up against. Big hits that turn the tides in our favor. Noise that shakes opponents to their core.
That was 112 decibels in that last tackle.
Disruption is in our DNA.
It's intercepted! Seahawks ball! Interception made by Love!
Celebrating 50 seasons of Seahawks football.
Right back, throws it! Touchdown! Touchdown Seahawks!
Visit Seahawks.com/tickets today.
Let's go!
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You've still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
eBay has reinvented vehicle buying. From click to curb, everything's covered. Ever try to buy a car online and end up in a parking lot with a stranger and some blind trust? That era is over. Now with Secure Purchase, eBay isn't just where you find your car. It's where you buy it, start to finish. Title, financing, registration, delivery, it's all built in. This is the modern way to buy your next ride on eBay. eBay. Things people love. Secure Purchase is powered by Caramel Dealer Services, LLC, an eBay subsidiary.
Spike O'Neill here with Dr. Matthew Sharp of Sharp Vision Modern LASIK and Lens. Doc, the one question I keep getting is, was it painful? Should I be nervous about the procedure for a refractive lens exchange? Do you get that question a lot?
Well, definitely, Spike. And I would expect everyone to be a little bit nervous about this. This is a procedure on your eyes. When you come, I think you'll be very comforted by our team. A little bit of medication under the tongue or orally so that you get nice and relaxed. Procedure itself typically takes between 5 and 7 minutes, is utterly painless before, during, and after the procedure. So once they're done, the most common thing we hear by far is, I can't believe it was that easy. I can't believe I waited that long to have this done.
Do what I did. Schedule a consultation to learn everything you need to know from the best. Sharp Vision Modern LASIK and Lens. 425-451-2020. That's 425-451-2020. Or go online to sharp-vision.com. Sharp with an E-vision.com. Official eye care providers of Sounders FC.
Seattle's morning news. Hear it live. Stream it online. Watch the show or catch the podcast anytime. Seattle's morning news, wherever you are.
It's time for our Crime and Punishment segment with Casey McNerthy from the King County Prosecutor's Office.
Casey, good morning. Last week we were talking about how to keep schools safer, and you are here with an update this morning.
Yeah, so remember last year in Olympia how King County Prosecutor Lisa Mannion went down there and tried to get the law changed to where it shouldn't take 5 convictions for unlawful gun possession before a kid gets really meaningful intervention, more than 0 to 30 days with the state. Representative David Hackney and Senator Moncandingra tried to get that through. Overall, it didn't work with lawmakers. We're still going to try that again next year, but Lisa was thinking there's got to be something else we can do because there's a problem with juveniles and guns. And so one thing that she came up with was the state's ERPO law, which stands for Extreme Risk Protection Order, serving those in cases where you know that you have kids with guns, serving that on the parents to get the guns out of the house. Here's a clip from King County Prosecutor Lisa Mannion.
So I think ERPOs are an innovative way to try to reduce juveniles' access to firearms. The thing about an ERPO is that the extreme risk protection order is served on parents. It puts parents on notice as to what their young person is up to. It helps safely remove firearms from the home. It also will allow intervention to get a young person services if they need it. It's a civil order. Records are sealed, so there's no stigma to this. But removing firearms from the hands of juveniles actually keeps us safer.
And Casey, it's early, it's a Monday morning, and maybe somebody doesn't have all their coffee in them yet. Just to back up a little bit, a juvenile needs 5 convictions of having a handgun or other firearm before there are any meaningful sanctions, such as going to jail for any significant amount of time. 5 convictions is what they need. And so what we're hearing from the prosecutor is maybe we can try something else with these ERPOs.
Yeah, we've got to do something else because 5 separate guns before you get to the state's juvenile rehabilitation for more than 0 to 30 days of local sanctions. That's just common sense. You can't leave a situation where you have 5 different guns and 5 different convictions, because what happens is you see more serious crimes before that. And what ERPOs are, for folks who might have forgotten, in 2016, 70% of voters statewide said we should have a red flag law like this. It allows the cops to say, hey, here's a situation where we think there's somebody who's seriously going to make threats or has made threats and will hurt themselves or others. And a judge can say, okay, for 3 or 6 months or 12 months, the guns have to be out of the house, and make an order for the cops to go in and get those. Already this year, we've served more than 100 of those. And there were 6 very specific threats of school violence that most people didn't know about. But just this year, 6 different cases. It's important to keep doing those, but it's a question of capacity, because there's also an extra 140 cases where juveniles have been involved with guns. If we could, in each one of those, have the guns taken out of the house on a judge's order, at least temporarily, that would lead to less juvenile violence. And here's another clip from Lisa explaining the capacity issue.
Right now, I have 2 deputy prosecuting attorneys who go to court and work on ERPO hearings. They do not have enough capacity to keep up with all the ERPOs that we're seeing in adult cases, let alone adding juvenile cases to this. So just this year, in the first 6 months of this year, we've had 140 referrals of juveniles involved in firearms. I need to have the capacity to have someone review those cases. I need law enforcement to have the capacity to file petitions and to serve ERPO orders on families. I also need an investigator to do the important work of risk assessment and ascertaining whether this is an appropriate action in a case. This is work that is driven by capacity. We absolutely need additional capacity if we're going to try to reduce juveniles' access to firearms.
And so, Casey, what happens now?
So now her budget request is with the King County Council. They pass their budget in early November. So it's for this and the other school safety initiative that we talked about last week, it would be under $1 million. And so hopefully we get that funding from the council. We know that they're working hard on that budget, so we'll see what happens.
Okay, Casey, let's get the update on this on graffiti. We talked last week, and I said, hey, wouldn't it be a great idea if one of these people who are taggers, when they are being sentenced for their crime, for their vandalism, for their destroying and defacing of our public property, making the Seattle beauty look less so, maybe we should have them cover up. They should paint their vandalism, a solid taupe. And there was a sentencing on this previous week, right?
There was. It's like Field of Dreams. If you build it, he will come, right? So you asked about it, and sure enough, on Thursday, one of those 17 defendants was convicted of malicious mischief, ordered to a 12-month deferred sentence, but also was ordered to 50 hours of service with Mayor Bruce Harrell's One Seattle Graffiti Service Program. So for at least 50 hours, he'll be working on new art projects and painting over the graffiti, like the one that this guy did on a wall of I-5 near Northgate.
Would we expect to see more of those sentences?
I think so. Yeah, absolutely. And also the key here is there's a restitution hearing coming up. So Seattle police and prosecutors have 6 months to make sure that every receipt gets before the court for all the damages to washed out property, to say not only do you have those 50 hours of service and that other sentence, but also here's the amount for restitution that's going to be lean,
All right, Casey McNerthy with the King County Prosecutor's Office. Thanks for your time today, Casey.
You bet. Good to see you both.
For your KIRO News Radio forecast, expect some smoke and haze today along with some patchy fog. We'll have plenty of sunshine later this afternoon with improving air quality. Highs will be in the low 70s. Right now, it's about 49 in downtown Seattle. Coming up, we'll have more of the day's top stories on Seattle's Morning News. I'm Katrina Gashard. You're listening to KIRO News Radio.
Choke Points with Chris Sullivan.
With Choke Points, we try to answer listeners' questions. It can be as simple as a neighborhood stop sign, or it can be as big as the budget for transportation. I don't care. I'll find the answer for you. It's really easy to get a hold of me at mynorthwest.com. We have a direct link there that gets right to me. You can also do it in the app. You can hit me up on the text line.
Choke Points, presented by Carter Subaru. Tuesdays and Thursdays on KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is for you too. Stubborn fat is really hard to get rid of, and then there's all those gimmicky lasers, fat freezing methods, and prescriptions. Imagine a simple solution that takes just one day and provides immediate noticeable results. Introducing ProSculpt. ProSculpt uses air-assisted technology that's safe and gentle yet powerful, delivering instant fat-reducing and skin-tightening results. Performed by board-certified plastic surgeons while fully awake, ProSculpt contours your body with minimal downtime. It's designed to target those problem areas: waistline, neck, face, arms, thighs. ProSculpt gently removes unwanted fat and tightens loose skin with FDA-cleared plasma technology, all in a simple, guaranteed one-day procedure. ProSculpt is one and done. Schedule your free consultation at prosculpt.com for $250 off. For powerful permanent fat removal and skin tightening that works for ladies and you men, it's prosculpt.com.
Are you trying to buy a new home, or are you a local real estate agent seeking financing for a client? We're all tired of dealing with banks, credit unions, and endless guidelines. Wouldn't it be nice to go back in time when we had common sense lending? Hi, I'm Scott Rireka, CEO of Legacy Group Capital based in Bellevue. We are one of the largest local private portfolio lenders in Washington. We've helped thousands of home buyers and real estate investors reach their financial goals by leveraging the Legacy Common Sense borrowing platform. What that means is we lend our own money, we make our own decisions. If your deal makes sense, we'll get it done. Whether you're purchasing a new piece of real estate or refinancing an existing loan, bridge loans, construction, or regular home loan, it doesn't have to be as difficult as banks and lenders make it. If you're trying to grow wealth through real estate acquisition, come talk to the experts in private lending.
Call 425-635-4700 or LegacyG.com. Legacy Group Capital, your common sense lender. LegacyG.com.
My name is Carlos, and I'm a Cub Scout. I'm here to talk to you today about becoming a scout like me. Cub Scouts get badges for doing fun activities, and we make friends. Scouts go camping, climbing, and fishing, and swimming together. We play sports and go to parades. Scouts also help people and become the best versions of themselves. Visit bascout.org to find a pack near you, get any questions answered, and sign up for Cub Scouts online.
Good afternoon, I'm Aaron Granillo.
Your best source for local news.
Newly released police video shows the arrest of a 17-year-old.
KIRO News Radio.
Doctors King and Kopstein from K2 Vision.
If you're over 50 and you've been diagnosed with a cataract, or your vision is changing as you're developing an early cataract, you could be a perfect candidate for K2 Vision RLE.
It's inevitable. At some point, typically in your 60s or 70s, you'll have a dysfunctional lens that eventually becomes a cataract. To restore your vision, you will someday need a procedure such as refractive lens exchange.
The question is, are you done with glasses? Do you want to spend your good, active years hassling with changing prescriptions and needing readers?
K2 Vision RLE can give you great vision now, permanently, and you'll never develop that cataract. The procedure is quick and painless, and our state-of-the-art custom lens technologies give highly predictable outcomes.
K2 Vision surgeons have performed nearly 100,000 procedures. We know when RLE is right for you.
Find out. Schedule a free Zoom consultation at k2visionrle.com.
K2 Vision RLE. No glasses, no contacts, no readers.
He flew fighter jets in 2 wars and taught you how to drive a car. He fed everyone on the block, but never shared his secret recipes. And every time he'd tell a story, he'd own the room. But now more than ever, he may feel alone. Today, older adults and their loved ones are struggling to connect, in a time when connection has never been more important. But there is something we can do. Embrace our older loved ones through StoryCorps Connect. With StoryCorps Connect, you can honor seniors remotely with an interview about their life. Every interview will be archived at the Library of Congress, becoming part of American history, so that years from now, future generations can listen in.
All right, Grandpa, what's one piece of advice you have for me?
Just 3 words, sweetheart. Live with courage. The man that had the best stories still has plenty of stories to tell. So connect virtually and share the conversation of a lifetime at StoryCorpsConnect.org/AARP. Connect, honor, share. StoryCorps Connect. A message from AARP, StoryCorps, and the Ad Council.
Lori here from Guardian Roofing, Gutters, and Insulation. I'm here with good news. Protecting your home has never been easier, thanks to our flexible financing options that can fit any budget. With Guardian's acclaimed services, you can upgrade or repair your roof, gutters, attic insulation, and even prevent moss without straining your wallet. Plus, it's all backed by our Guardian Guarantee. Why wait? Start guarding your home today. Call to hear about our flexible financing options or visit guardianroofing.com.
Cancers impact so many, but there's hope because the UW Cancer Vaccine Institute is developing ways to treat and prevent the deadliest cancers. Learn more at uwcvi.org about patients who received treatment 20 years ago that are healthy today. You can help by donating to fight at your local Safeway.
Your best source for local news. KIRO Newsradio, KIRO FM and HD1, Tacoma, Seattle, Northwest News.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. Today marks 2 years since Hamas' attack on Israel that killed around 1,200 people. Deborah Pata is across the border from Gaza at the site of the Nova Music Festival, where many of the victims died.
A grim milestone here in Israel as the country mourns its dead 2 years on from the Hamas terror attack. There are still 48 hostages in captivity, 20 believed alive. Their families are desperate for a deal as indirect negotiations between Hamas and Israel take place in Egypt.
In a speech today, a senior Hamas official called the attack a historic response to Israel's actions. The U.S. government shutdown is entering day 7, and a CBS News analysis finds federal officials have flagged more air traffic control facilities for low staffing levels over the past few days than they have since the post-COVID travel boom in 2022. Correspondent Chris Van Cleve.
We are seeing air traffic control staffing issues now several days in a row, often in places that don't typically have staffing issues, like here in Phoenix that saw about 250 delays coming in and out of this airport yesterday.
The control tower at Hollywood Burbank Airport closed for a few hours because it was unmanned. This passenger gets it.
That's the way they have to protest. Right? They have no other way to show that it's hurting not just them, but us.
As more Democratic cities and states try to put up legal roadblocks, President Trump says he would consider using the Insurrection Act to send federal troops in.
I'd do it if it was necessary. So far, it hasn't been necessary, but we have an Insurrection Act for a reason. If I had to enact it, I'd do that.
A federal judge has turned down Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker's attempt to keep the National Guard out of Chicago. State Attorney General Kwame Raoul.
The only situations that are out of control are certain ICE and Customs Border Patrol officers who are engaged in shocking overreach.
The Pentagon is relaxing its controversial new rules for media access.
The Defense Department now says journalists will not need its approval before running stories with information that was not officially released. There are still rules under which journalists could be deemed security risks and lose their Pentagon credentials. The Reporters Committee for Freedom of the Press is still demanding clarification on that. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth has removed several news outlets from their workspaces at the Pentagon and given those spaces to news outlets that are more friendly to the Trump administration. Michael Wallace, CBS News.
Pope Leo will say arrivederci to the Vatican for the first foreign trip as Pope. The Vatican says he'll visit Turkey and Lebanon next month. This is CBS News.
Brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Not only does Progressive let you bundle your insurance, they also give you round-the-clock protection. Quote today at Progressive.com.
It's 6:03, and Ted Beener is in for Sully at the traffic desk.
And good morning, everybody. The road's overall in good shape with just a few exceptions. The northbound 167 has got the usual bridge strike slowdown. And we got a backup that's moving through Pacific. Your Puyallup to Renton drive time is about 45 minutes, about 10 minutes slower than usual. Northbound I-5 has some braking from the Tacoma Dome into Federal Way. Your Tacoma to Seattle drive time is just under an hour. And on southbound I-5 near State Route 599, In Tukwila, we've got a disabled vehicle that's blocking the center lane. Response teams are there. Coming in from the north end, traffic is moving rather well. In fact, Everett to Seattle or Bellevue, both of those are right around a half hour. And Renton to Bellevue is northbound 405. Drive time is 15 minutes. This traffic report is brought to you by Global Credit Union, where members enjoy no-fee accounts and early payday with direct deposit. Learn more at globalcu.org. I'm Ted Wiener with KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic.
Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and MyNorthwest.com.
Live from East Lake Avenue.
You're listening to Charlie Harger and Manda Factor, Seattle's morning news.
Good morning. It's 6:04, and we begin this morning with heartbreaking news out of Puyallup. A student athlete from Puyallup High School is in the hospital with serious injuries after being hit by a truck during a cross-country team run.
Devastating news for the school and the wider community. KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey has the latest live on what happened and how the community is responding.
Yeah, this is just horrible. It happened around 4 o'clock yesterday afternoon at the intersection of 7th and 2nd Streets Northeast. So that's just a block away from the Elephant Car Wash there on East Main Avenue. Police say that the victim was out on a run with his team. A neighbor, Jessica Orth, tells KIRO 7 TV he was then hit by that truck.
He had already stepped into the street. It looked like he put his hand up to the truck. He fell and he slid a little bit on the gravel. He was not conscious or speaking at that time.
And police say the driver of the truck is a 27-year-old man. They say he was not impaired and he is cooperating with the investigators, but he was arrested apparently at the scene on an unrelated misdemeanor charge.
It makes you question every choice you make every day because time is all we have. Slow down. No life is worth it.
So this intersection is in a neighborhood. It's not an arterial. It's not a major road. The student's coach was right there when it happened. He was the first to respond before paramedics arrived. All we know right now is that the injuries are serious. That's being tweeted out by police as well. And the investigation will continue today.
Okay, Luke, thank you. Well, this is making national headlines. The state capitol building was vandalized Sunday night, and one man was arrested for causing significant damage.
We get more from KIRO News Radio's James Lynch.
The break-in happened at around 10:15. The state patrol says the man used a hammer to break the glass and entered through a first-floor window, then proceeded to vandalize the rotunda, the state reception room, and other areas. Here's WSP Trooper Cameron Watts.
Statues being overturned, rugs and flags being burned, glass being broken, so the damage was fairly significant.
The man was arrested on suspicion of malicious mischief, burglary, and arson. In Olympia, James Lynch, KIRO News Radio.
A Thurston County judge did release the 29-year-old man on the condition he show up for his next court hearing.
Washington's climate law just survived another legal challenge. The U.S. Supreme Court said yesterday it won't hear a case against the Climate Commitment Act. It's the state's cap and invest law passed in 2021. It forces big polluters to buy allowances for greenhouse gases they release. According to the Seattle Times, the lawsuit came from a natural gas plant in Grays Harbor County. The company behind it, Chicago-based Invenergy, argued the law was unconstitutional. They said it unfairly targets private plants and treats them like out-of-state businesses. But with the Supreme Court stepping back, the law stands.
If you saw black smoke billowing from a Bainbridge ferry yesterday, no, it was not an emergency. Washington State Ferry says it was a planned burn-off. Crews were clearing carbon buildup from the smokestack on the ferry Calitan. This happened about 5:35 in the evening, so a lot of people saw it. The boat was docked between trips. According to the Seattle Times, another burn-off was done yesterday on the Mukilteo-Clinton route. The Bainbridge terminal sits right next to the Eagle Harbor Maintenance Facility. That's where ferries go for longer repairs.
Keeping you informed since 1974.
This is the city's longest-running radio news show.
Seattle's Morning News on KIRO News Radio.
Well, good morning. Tuesday, October 7th. Glad to have you here. I'm Charlie Harger with Manda Factor.
Also known as Game 3 Day of the ALDS.
Big game in Detroit. We want to win this one.
I'm only mildly distracted this morning.
Only mildly. And, fortunately for us, we were such early hours. We're going to be home.
I could watch the whole game.
Not have to fall asleep. Sully is off this morning, so we say hello to you, Ted. Welcome.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Nice to see you.
Good to see you as well.
And we'll be talking with you throughout the morning. You're kind of feeling, Ted's also a meteorologist, by the way. You're kind of feeling this might be the last 70-plus day of the year?
It's looking like it, yep.
Okay, well, we'll get into that. Coming up on this hour of Seattle's Morning News, which is sponsored by American Crawl Space and Pest Control, we're going to talk with New York Times investigative reporter David Farenthold with the latest on the government shutdown.
We'll also get to your personal finance report from Brian Evans with Madrona Financial Services.
It's 6:08. The Renton City Council has approved a 0.1% sales tax increase that could generate millions annually for public safety and criminal justice services. KIRO 7 TV's Gary Horker reports.
That extra tax passed with a unanimous vote. The more officers you have, the better service that you can provide your community. And I'd say now with more complexity of calls for service, the nature of the calls for service, it takes officers a lot more to get the outcome that our community needs. The new tax rate will not change at the register until after the new year.
Outside the Starbucks headquarters in Soto yesterday.
No contract! No coffee! No contract! No coffee!
Starbucks baristas and local union leaders held a protest, as we hear from KIRO 7 TV's Monique Minglovin.
This is in response to the recent store closures. The Starbucks recently closed 28 stores in Washington, including 9 in Seattle. Starbucks Workers United says the closures left many workers jobless without being transferred to other stores. We reached out to Starbucks, who says, quote, union status wasn't a factor in these decisions, and we have reached an agreement with Workers United on next steps for the partners they represent, end quote.
Seattle police found an infant half naked laying on a sidewalk with their mother and surrounded by drug paraphernalia Sunday night. Here's KIRO News Radio's Jillian Raftery to explain.
This happened near South Seattle's Columbia City neighborhood. Multiple people passing called 911. They say the woman was smoking what they thought were narcotics and blowing that smoke into her baby's face. When police arrived, the sun had set and the baby was naked from the waist down and not moving. Police say the mother tried to attack officers. She was arrested for investigation of assault and reckless endangerment and had several other outstanding warrants. The baby is now in the care of Child Protective Services. Jillian Raftery for KIRO News Radio.
Help is on the way for families who rely on WIC in King County. Seattle and county leaders say they will offer one-time vouchers for food and infant formula. It's a backup plan in case the federal WIC program runs out of money. That could happen soon because of the partial government shutdown. Nearly 30,000 people in King County use WIC. The state says funding could dry up in a week or two. Public Health Seattle and King County will partner with Safeway to issue those vouchers.
6:11 now, and Mariners are playing a little later this afternoon in Detroit, but one familiar face will be missing. First baseman Josh Naylor won't be there at Comerica Park. That's because he's away for personal reasons.
And it's a good reason, but darn it.
Yeah. You know, your wife is pregnant. She's about to give birth. This is probably the one exception. His wife is pregnant with their first child. Naylor had planned to fly to Arizona, where they lived, as soon as she went into labor. Well, that game is today in Detroit. First pitch 1:08. You can catch the action on our sister station 710 Seattle Sports.
And in case you missed it, yes, indeed, there is crying in baseball. If you happen to be at T-Mobile Park Sunday night, Saul Spady was seen on the Fox Sports broadcast moved to tears after the Mariners took an 8th-inning lead. Spady tells Jason Rantz on Seattle Red 770 AM.
You go to these games for that moment right there, and all the times we lost, this time we won, and I cried. And Fox found me because camera people are really talented.
I cried too. It's okay. Game 3 again set for today in Detroit. First pitch 1:08.
You know who's never cried?
Who?
Not one single time.
Nick Allard.
Nick Allard. He's brought to us by State Roofing and Exteriors. A stiff upper lip, a steel in his spine. He's looking at that forecast and not trembling.
What did I do?
You showed up for work. Good job.
Woo! Yeah, yesterday was a zoo. I'm sorry I couldn't be with you guys. We had some computer things to do back here. But
is that
today,
the new graphics package you're using, isn't it?
Yeah, we got new graphics, and, well, they worked, but I don't know, maybe I didn't work. There was just some issues we had to take care of. But you know what? As they say grammatically in the dictionary, they look, quote-unquote, real good. This morning, we're looking at some sunshine with patchy fog increasing because it is kind of chilly out there. And we also have some smoke and haze. Now, we talked a lot about this on air throughout the day yesterday, where I was saying you'd see a lot of smoke and haze in the air, and then you'd be most impacted at the surface along I-90 and south, and especially like along I-5 and east. And that's where we're hit the hardest. That and then the Cascade Foothills. Cascade Foothills areas, we have, say, like unhealthy air quality. And then those other spots I mentioned are moderate to unhealthy for sensitive groups. I think if you did a quick check on air quality, 80% of Western Washington is either good or moderate, and then the rest of that 20% is moderate to like unhealthy for sensitive groups or a few unhealthy spots. That east wind continues this morning, and then as the day goes on, it's going to turn off, which means you will find better air by late in the day and especially tonight. It'll be warm, sunny and hazy at about, say, 72 in Seattle, 75 in Tacoma, 76 in Olympia, 77 in Chehalis, and upper 60s in Everett. Then wait until we talk about tomorrow, which I'll do briefly, but next hour we'll spend a lot more time on it. We're going to get down to like 62, and then a high on Saturday with some rain, 59, 58.
Yikes.
Here we go. Nick, this is Ted. Is this our last 70-degree day of the year?
We should have had some dramatic music for that. I thought you were going to say, I thought you were going to like say my credit card number on air or something. You made me nervous.
4, 3, 2, 1, 1,
Yep.
6.
How did you know the combination of my luggage?
All right. Thank you, Nick. And right now it's 48 in Seattle. So head over to the traffic desk with Ted.
All righty. Thank you. This traffic report is brought to you by Closets by Design. More cars joining the commute here this morning on southbound I-5 near State Route 599 in Tukwila. We've got a disabled vehicle still blocking that center lane. Otherwise, the greatest challenges include slowing on northbound I-5 from the Tacoma Dome into Federal Way. And, of course, we've got that northbound 167 bridge strike. We've got a loss of lanes there. That's bogging down traffic from Pacific back to around pretty close to Sumner at this point. Your Puyallup to Renton drive time is about 50 minutes, while Auburn to Renton, that is just 15 minutes. That just shows that it really breaks free and heads north towards Renton. Some other drive times, let's see, coming in from the north end, we're doing pretty well there. And Everett to Seattle or Bellevue, both of those are right around a half hour. Renton to Bellevue on northbound 405, that drive time is about 15 minutes. And on northbound I-5, Federal Way to Seattle is 38 minutes. 22 of those are from South Center. Custom storage solutions for closets, garages, home offices, and more. Go to closetsbydesign.com to see your current specials or call 1-800-BY-DESIGN to learn more. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Ted Biener.
It's 6:15. All right. LA Lakers legend LeBron James just dropped a teaser video on social media that has the sports world buzzing. KIRO News Radio's Katrina Gishard is here to tell us more.
LeBron James is about to turn 41 and is entering his 23rd season in the NBA. And he just dropped a 10-second promo of him walking up to an empty seat to sit across from someone with the caption, "The decision of all decisions, October 7th, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time." That's basically it. And the hashtag is the second decision. So we're less than 2 hours away from learning more. What do you guys think it could be about?
He's retiring and starting a podcast.
I think that's probably the likeliest option. However, you can't rule out this is like some stunt for Jack in the Box or something like that.
You just never know.
Okay,
We'll
thank
see.
you, Katrina. 6:16.
For more than 50 years, the voice Seattle trusts. This is Seattle's Morning News on KIRO News Radio.
On Tuesdays, we talk with New York Times investigative reporter David Fahrenthold to go over the big stories of the week.
David, let's start with the big news across the country. We are entering day 7 now of the government shutdown. Are you surprised there hasn't been a resolution yet?
No, I'm not surprised. Both sides, I think, see this to their advantage. Trump because it gives him a chance to maybe cut the government some more. Democrats because they feel like, they're under pressure from their base to do something to resist Trump, and this is something. So and there hasn't really been any of the pain that would cause people to sort of there a broad public outcry for this thing to end, like air traffic controllers going on strike or something like that. Right now, it's a pretty painless situation. Both sides think they have a political advantage.
Does it surprise you that the Democrats it doesn't seem as if they have a cohesive message as to why they're doing the shutdown? Yes, it's about health care, but it really doesn't seem to be resonating with the American people.
mean, I am not surprised that's how their messaging is, because they're always in disarray like that. They've never been good. This crowd of Democrats have never been that good at doing any sort of cohesive message that the country can understand. They're so in the bubble here in Washington. But, polls are showing that Democrats actually are getting the better side of the shutdown. People blame Trump more than they blame Democrats. So in spite of themselves, they may be coming up with their political success here.
David, yesterday President Trump said he was talking with Democrats, but Chuck Schumer kind of pushed back on that. Do we know what the real truth is?
I think there is some back channel conversations. The thing that the Democrats want, which is to extend subsidies in law that help people buy Obamacare more cheaply, that would not be the end of the world for Trump to give them. I think that Republicans want to stand on principle and not give anything. But given that Trump is breaking the budget anyway, like adding a little bit extra, not only would it help in the shutdown, but it also might help Republicans in swing districts. They don't want to be blamed for this if these subsidies go away. So it would not be the world's most painful thing if Trump did do that. But I think that we're still going to see a few more days of standoff before anybody caves.
And in a few days, I think it's Friday, that's payday, right, for federal workers. Is that when maybe this starts getting real?
It will be real for people, in the military, people in other federal agencies, whether that trickles down to, it's now real for a congressman, a Democrat or Republican who has to break with his party. I think we're a long way from that kind of pressure. I truly think, like last time it was the air traffic controllers, the long delays at airports. I think it'll be something like that.
David, a big story for us this week is the attempt by the president to deploy National Guard troops in Portland. We've had one of our reporters there throughout parts of last week and this week. It's really become a legal back and forth. Where do you see it going?
Well, it is an odd situation, both for two reasons. One is that, as I'm sure you guys have reported, there's not any sort of great uproar in Portland. There's a few small demonstrators. Now there's a bunch of influencers from both sides who are going there to try to make it a bigger deal. But it's not, especially by Portland standards, anything to write home about. It's a really small demonstration. So that's odd. And the other thing that's odd is that Trump wants to send such a small number of troops, a few hundred troops. To me, it's like he has said he's going to send the National Guard to Portland. He wants to send the National Guard to Portland, regardless of whether there is a need or regardless of whether he's sending enough people to actually make a difference if there was. It just seems like this sort of symbolic thing that he wants to do. But I think the Democrats in Oregon have done a good job of blocking that and trying to make him explain what the legal rationale for this is.
A key word I'm seeing used by not only the president, but also his supporters, I hear the word insurrection being thrown around. Is there some significance to that? I think of the Insurrection Act.
Right. The Insurrection Act, that's why people use that word. The Insurrection Act is an old law that would allow the president to use the military for domestic law enforcement. It's sort of an exception to the normal rules that prohibit the military from being used inside the U.S. But, I think that's the reason he hasn't done it yet is there's no insurrection. Like, there's nothing you could point to in any of these places. He wanted to do it back in 2020 when there were widespread George Floyd protests. I don't think it applied even there, but it certainly doesn't apply to a few people holding signs outside of an ICE facility in Portland. So I think he's on shaky legal ground even before a very friendly Supreme Court if he tries to declare that an insurrection.
We shall see. Since you mentioned the Supreme Court, they start a new term this week. What are you watching for?
Well, the Supreme Court has shown itself very willing to allow Trump to push the boundaries of executive power, like take responsibilities in spending that are normally given to Congress, take responsibilities that are normally given to independent commissions, and take them for himself. So the question now is, where do they draw that line? They must assume there are some limits in the president's power, and we'll find out where they are. But Trump is asking them to end birthright citizenship. He's asking them to let him fire members of the FTC. There's lots of cases this year that will test the expanses of the president's power.
And I'm curious, David, are you following the developments at CBS News? And if so, with new leadership at top, what's the National Press Corps saying?
So what's happening at CBS News, it was bought by somebody, David Ellison, the son of a Trump ally, and he's now installing somebody named Barry Weiss, who was a New York Times contributor, like a center-right writer who went off and started her own website called The Free Press. And the sort of MO of that site is that it defies liberal ideology. It's sort of more on the right. It's like an intellectual right-wing publication. And so that person, Barry Weiss, is now going to be the editor of CBS News. For me, what matters is whether they're following the facts. Is CBS News going to become an opinion outlet, or is it going to be a news outlet that follows the facts? And if it follows the facts, putting somebody else in charge who looks at it from a different angle and wants to find new viewers and new readers, I think that's fine. The question is just, what they do with it. TV news especially TV broadcast news is a hard business to be in now anyway. So maybe trying something new will work, but I will keep an eye on it to see if they start straying away from objectivity.
All right, David, thanks for sharing your thoughts this morning. We appreciate it. New York Times investigative reporter David Farenthold.
It's 6:23, and Ted Beener's at the traffic desk filling in for Sully.
Thank you, Charlie. This traffic report is brought to you by Seattle Sports. Traffic volumes are rising for your Tuesday morning commute. Northbound 167 as the usual bridge strike slowdown, and you've got the backup that's moving through Pacific. Your Puyallup to Renton drive time now is close to an hour. That's about 25 minutes slower than usual. Northbound I-5, that's got a sun glare slowdown from Lacey down into the Nisqually Valley. Also braking from the Tacoma Dome into Federal Way. Your Tacoma to Seattle drive time, that has climbed now to about an hour and 15 minutes. The disabled vehicle on southbound I-5 near State Route 599 in Tukwila, that has cleared. But on southbound State Route 9, just south of the Snohomish River, we've got a crash that's moved over to the right shoulder. Otherwise, coming in from the north end, traffic moving rather well. We do have a little bit of brake lights from the Boeing Freeway down to about 128 there in South Everett, and a little bit of crowding as you go through the Canyon Park area on southbound 405. Both Everett to Seattle Bellevue, though, those are right around a half hour. Olympia to Tacoma through JBLM is 38 minutes, and Renton to Bellevue on northbound 405, that drive time is still holding firm, about 15 minutes. Very good. Download Seattle Sports app to stay in the know with the latest news, scores, and opinions about your favorite teams. I'm Ted Beener with KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic.
Beautiful day. It's going to be warm, 72, a little bit hazy in spots, otherwise sunshine, and then we'll cool down about 10 degrees for tomorrow with more clouds, some sunshine, and by Thursday now we're looking for spotty showers with highs in the low 60s. We're going to stay there by the weekend, highs only in the upper 50s. Right now in Seattle, it's 49.
And coming up on KIRO News Radio, Luke Ducey with details on watch parties happening around the city this afternoon for the American League Division Series Game 3. The M's are in Detroit looking to jump ahead in the series. We'll also have the opening bell report on Seattle's Morning News.
The Northwest's trusted news source, KIRO News Radio.
Police in Federal Way are investigating what appears to be a car explosion.
KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey is live from the neighborhood.
I can't tell you enough how crazy this scene is here.
Coverage you depend on.
A massive police presence in Kent.
From voices you know and trust.
We have an active fire inside one of these buildings here.
KIRO News Radio. On 97.3 FM, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
You gave years, maybe decades to your job. You showed up, worked hard, and planned for retirement. But now, the company's changed. Or maybe you've taken a buyout or been forced into early retirement. So, what happens next? I'm Jeff Jr., founder of Trajan Wealth. And if you've built up a 401k or thrift savings plan, now is the time to ask, is that money really working for you? Many workplace retirement plans offer limited options and even less guidance. At Trajan Wealth, we help people just like you roll over their accounts into IRAs with more flexibility and personalized investment strategies built around your goals. For households with $500,000 or more, let us build you a personalized plan. We operate on veteran values, service, trust, and doing what's right. Your next chapter starts now. Call Trajan Wealth, 206-656-3300, 206-656-3300.
Advisory services offered through Trajan Wealth, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor.
Life's expensive enough, isn't it? Groceries, gas, kids' activities. Sometimes your roof needs replacing, but your budget says not now. Hi, I'm Justin Shirley, CEO of State Roofing and Exteriors. We want to help with an offer to lift that weight off your shoulders. Get 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for up to 24 months, or save up to $3,000 on a new